When you have to add two or more vectors, first thing you'll have to determine is that whether the vectors are parallel or are not parallel. By saying parallel, I mean that the angle between the vectors is 0 degrees or 180 degrees. Now these are parallel vectors. For parallel vectors, you simply add them up or subtract them. But for non-parallel vectors, which are like this, which have an angle between, there are two methods to solve non-parallel vectors. First method is parallelogram method, the other method is triangle method. Come back to the parallel vectors. When the parallel vectors are in the same direction, they're added up. When they're in the opposite direction, they're subtracted. Let's take an example of a box. If you're pushing the box in this direction with a force of 20 Newton, and I am pushing this box in this direction with a force of 10 Newton, now these two are parallel vectors, the box will move in the direction to the right with a force of 10 Newtons. Now let's take the same box and let's say you have a friend to help you out. You're pushing this box towards the right direction with a force of 20 Newton, and your friend is pushing this box with a force of 10 Newton. And I am pushing this box with the same force of 10 Newtons. So now your force and your friend's force will get added up, which will give us a force in this direction of 30 Newton. See, because the direction of your force and your friend's force is in the same direction, and I'm pushing this box in this direction of 10 Newton. So the box will move to the right with a force of 20 Newtons. 30 minus 10 will give you 20 Newtons. So that's how vectors which are parallel are added or subtracted. Now let's move on to some practical examples. Let's say these two are moving the board in this direction with a force of 20 meter per second. Not with the force, with the velocity of 20 meter per second. And the velocity of water is also in the same direction with a magnitude of 10 meter per second. The boat will move towards my left with a force, with a velocity of what? 30 meter per second. 20 plus 10 equals 30 meter per second. Right? Now this guy here is parasailing. This activity is called parasailing. The force in this rope right here, which is attached to the boat, let's say the force in this rope is 20 Newtons. And the force of the air resistance on the parachute is, let's take it as 10 Newtons. So what will be the force? What will be the resultant force? It will be 10 Newtons towards the boat. Right? Because 20 and 10, they will get subtracted up, and the force will be 10 Newton towards the boat.